Okay guys, stream should be working now, hopefully. I was trying to get it sort of just before and it wasn't going, but it should be going now, hopefully. Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay, awesome. So I was going to make a like Q&A video because I did ask you guys some questions, but then I thought, well, if I do this, then we can go through more questions and I can also cover some news and stuff as well, especially considering a lot of the questions were to do with like the 2060 and all that. I thought it would be quite good. Your viewers should be happy. Okay. Let's just make sure everything's all right. For some reason it seems that it's a little bit grumpy, but let me know if there's any problems. Otherwise it looks pretty good to me. It's saying on YouTube's end that there may be some problems, but it looks fine to me, so I don't know what the... Okay. Might just be because a lot of people are streaming right now or something like that. Okay, you guys let me know if everything's alright on your end, if the audio, everything's okay. So just let me know in chat. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, let me just redo this. Okay guys, so we'll start in talking about the stuff in a second. I just want to make sure everything's okay first. All green on this end. Hey. Yeah, we'll talk about Navi in a bit. I'm just double... Okay, stream health is good now. Okay, that's good. That's all I wanted. I wasn't sure for some reason it was like saying it wasn't very good. But now it's okay. Tweet this out. There we go. Okay. Alright, so can you guys just tell me super quick if everything's alright on your end? You can read the text okay on the article, and the microphone's all fine. Everything's good on my end. I just always like to double check before we get into it because you don't want to be doing everything, and then someone tell you, oh, you know, this wasn't working or that wasn't working, because that would be embarrassing. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we'll talk about that stuff in a minute. I just want to start out with all the 2060. Whoa, all the 2060 stuff. Okay, cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys. There's quite a bit more of a delay for some reason than normal, which I'm not sure why that is, but it shouldn't be a huge problem anyway. Okay, I can just leave this open so I can keep an eye on everything. Okay, cool. Just buy it, says Steve. Well, you guys will see. I bought myself an RTX 2080 yesterday for my Christmas present. Oh yeah, where's Teddy? Teddy's still asleep. So yeah, I got myself a 2080. That video, unboxing video, will be going up really soon. But I got it for a really good deal, and as I've told you guys, I don't think buying them at their higher, like what the Founders Edition goes for, is a good deal. But if you can get one at its actual base pricing, then it's alright. It's not so bad. So let's talk about the RTX 2060. So we'll do some new stuff, and then we can talk about doing some Q&A type stuff, because you guys had a lot of questions to do with the 2060. So it looks like it's going to be coming out on January 15th, which is pretty soon, but I think a lot of us are expecting it to be out around then. This came from Video Cards, which generally they get a lot of leaks, and they're generally correct, at least in my experience. So this is going to have the RTX branding, which is interesting, and it's going to be their entry-level ray tracing GPU, which, I mean, considering NVIDIA's gone so all in on this, it doesn't really surprise me, but also considering that the 2070 is a bit of a disaster when it comes to anything to do with the ray tracing, I'm not sure. Anyway, going to be coming in at $350 US. 350. That's a lot of us, I think, expected 400 given everything NVIDIA has been doing. So 350, I think, we'll have to see when it gets to the performance, when we actually do our testing. But that should be okay. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. Cooler wise, the Founders Edition there you're seeing is the same design as what we've seen on the other one, so no real difference there. Being aimed at obviously 1080p gamers. We know the RTX 2060 will be offered in at least 2 different variants, so we can see one of the models going for around 300 US as well. We'd imagine that would be a slightly, maybe a cut down memory version or something along those lines. Yeah, 350, yeah, a little bit of an ouch there. So, performance-wise, for that 350, you'd obviously expect it to do better than the 1070. You know, obviously, it's got to do a lot better than that to make it worth it by any stretch. So, coming to the specifications, we know the card will be using the TU106 GPU. That's the same one you get with the 2070. The 2070 has 1920 CUDA cores. It will be slightly cut down. Sorry, that this one will be 1920 with 240 tensor cores and like 48 ROPS. That's okay. The card will feature clock speed of 1365 megahertz base, 1680 on the boost. That's decent. Most 2070s, the base ones boost like 1710. So that's fine as far as I can see. 6.5 teraflops of compute performance. So yeah, I mean, it's just to cut down 2070. It's actually interesting because the way NVIDIA have done this in the past, it's usually been like its own one, whereas now we're seeing that this is just a cut down 2070 basically at a cheaper price point. So we can see all the it'll be coming GDDR6 obviously at 14 gigabits a second. That's fine. 192-bit bus, so that's fine. The bandwidth won't be an issue. I can imagine, yeah, high bandwidth in the 1080, so that's good too. So we can see here the 2060, 2070, 2080 Ti. So the 2060 and 2070 are on the same GPU, the TU106, whereas the 2080s on the 104 and the 2080 Ti's on the 102. All of them obviously 12 nanometer, and then we see the CUDA cores difference here, sort of accelerating, especially the huge gap between the 2080 and the 2080 Ti there. But remember that this is a pretty massive performance difference between the 2080 and 2070. It doesn't look like there would be a huge performance difference given the CUDA core difference there. But, well, I mean, there's obviously other factors as well. But the 2080 has got quite a bit more performance than the 2070. Now we look at, so base clock, you'd pretty much ignore that because most of these will be coming with good coolers. Most of you guys will be using it in a case with good airflow. So we just look at the boost. 1680, so yeah, that's decent. As I said, 1710 for a 2070s, that's pretty typical. 1800's typical for a 2080. So that is just in line with what I thought. Pretty close to the 2070 though, and also given that it's the same GPU, yeah, that's good. Memory, we just talked about. The memory interface obviously cut down from the 2070, which means you get quite a decrease in the memory bandwidth, but this is still heaps. It's not a problem. 336, that's fine. Obviously 2070 and 2080 have the same, so 448. 8-pin power connectors. 8-pin for the 2070, really? Single 8-pin. I haven't seen that many 2070s. This must be the founders, I'm imagining. Most 2070s that you look at will have an 8 and a 6. So that's interesting. And 350. 350 on the price, which is, yeah, we'll have to see. Now let's talk about the performance here. So these are the performance numbers. We can see that compared to the 1080, 1070 Ti, 1070, and 1060. Battlefield 1, so that's a popular one. We're seeing there, matching the 1080 there. Battlefield 1. It's pretty good. Let's go down. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. That's a bit of a beast of a game to run. So that's about matching, yeah, matching the 1070 Ti there. And Deus Ex. We go down a little bit. Let's look at Far Cry 5. That's another popular one. 101. So yeah, matching the 1070 Ti and the 1080. These are at 1080p. So these are decent numbers. What's another? Wildlands doing 62. So yeah, matching a 1070 Ti. Shadow of the Tomb Raider matching the 1070 Ti. Witcher 3 matching the 1070 Ti. So this seems to be the common thing we're seeing through these. It seems to be matching the 1070 Ti. In some of the games it matches the 1080, but considering the 1070, 1070 Ti and 1080, there's just, you know, 2 degrees of difference between them. There's not really much gap in terms of performance. From the 1070 to the 1080, there is a decent amount. If we look compared to the 1060, I mean, it's obviously a pretty decent upgrade from that. But that's to be expected. I mean, that's what we would want to see. But this, looking at these numbers, in most of the games, it's matching the 1070 Ti. Now, people will say, and this is true, that Pascal has been out for ages. It has. And NVIDIA's optimized it to death. But that still doesn't, like, Turing will get better, obviously. It's very new right now. But already, I can't say I'm blown away by this performance. So here we have Battlefield 5, so, wow, they're saying, okay, so RTX numbers, have many speculating that the RTX2060 may have underperformed when it comes to its ray tracing feature. That may not be the case, and the performance is actually similar to that of the RTX 2070 with RTX enabled. So that's interesting there, but I mean, that's also, the 2070 isn't particularly good in terms of doing ray tracing stuff and all the rest of it. So yeah, I mean, I guess, but so what we can gather from this, and of course there's these rumors that there's going to be all these different variants. So you're getting 6 gig GDDR6 and then 6 with GDDR5 and 4 and 3 in that. I mean, I just think this is ridiculous. If this is true, this is ridiculous for NVIDIA. See what the results are. I imagine it's the top one. Yeah. 6 gigs GDDR6. So, I mean, I don't know why. Why would anyone buy the 3 gig GDDR6 model? Seriously, 34 people voted for that? Are you kidding me? Come on, guys. I don't know why. I think having 2 different models, obviously having one that's the 6 gig, and then if they really wanted to, doing the 3 gig. But I think 3 gig in 2019, that's just a joke. I would say a 4 gig one, that could make sense. A 6 and a 4, maybe. But I would... I don't think this would be a good idea. I keep seeing people talking about this, and I'm inclined to believe them, but I just think it's stupid. I think you're right. Yeah. People will be confused. So many people. I mean, it'll be kind of good for us in a kind of sad way, tech reviewers, because we'll be able to make so many, like, which 2060 should you get? Like, what difference is there between the different memory types? You know, doing that. Like, I could do so many showdowns with all the 2060 different types, you know, and Steve would probably go through and do a million benchmarks of them all, and, you know, Jared would as well, and everyone else. So it would be kind of good for us, but that's not the point. Why does it need to get to this, you know? People will be so confused. Regular people will be confused. They won't know how much they need, and it's just not right from NVIDIA. I think you just release one type, and like what they do with the other ones, you know, you just have one set amount of memory. Like the 2070 and 2080 is 8, and then obviously 2080 Ti you get 11. Instead of just doing this weird thing in the mid-range cards. So it's just I don't really like this at all. Anyways, let's go over. This is just another picture of them. 8-pin power connector. I think that's pretty typical. Oh, did we talk about the TDP? TDP is 150. So that's decent. I mean, if we look at the TDP of all of them, that's fine. Remember back, the 1080 Ti was at 250. Then we had, what was the 1080 from memory was, that was what, 185, right? I can't remember from memory. It's been such a long time since Pascal launched, really going back. But I remember the 1080 Ti, obviously, 250. And considering that the 2080 matches the 1080 Ti and obviously has a much lower TDP, that's good too. But yeah, so, and we have more pictures. See the rear I/O here. That's pretty typical. So it's looking like double DisplayPort, double HDMI, and DVI-D. There's a Zotac one, looking pretty beefy there. 150 watt TDP, I'd imagine that would be very easy to cool. So you'd be able to get a base model one with a little, like not a very fancy cooler on it. Should do just fine. That's one thing that's been quite good about Turing, for the most part anyway. When you compare them to, well, I mean, Pascal wasn't exceptionally hot running either, so that's not really true. I take that back. Both of them have been pretty good. Both of them have been fine. So let's go to some AMD news. Talked about enough about NVIDIA anyway. So, Ryzen 3000. A lot of you guys have been looking forward to that. I have, and a lot of us have. A lot of us tech reviewers have as well. And obviously the Radeon GPUs, that's going to be big. Definitely want that. So this is from WCCF Tech again. I have received confirmation that AMD will be launching 3 classes of products at their CES Keystone. CES is coming up very soon. The Ryzen 3000 series, 3000 series APUs, and Vega graphics, and a consumer Radeon graphics card, which is probably the Radeon Vega 2. Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD, will be talking in depth about AMD's 7nm progress. So good on AMD. They're really pushing the envelope, especially with the 7nm stuff. Intel's, yeah, starting to fall behind, but Intel's doing what Intel does best, which is buying up all the talent they have. You're going to see this cash machine unleashed. Intel's got deep pockets, and boy, are they using them now. They've been hiring like crazy, and they are just pouring money into R&D. So, yep, AMD gave them a kick up the backside, but Intel's not going to just take this lying down. They're going to definitely hit back very, very hard, I can imagine. So, yeah, let's have a look down here. So the Picasso lineup, 3000 use. We got all on the 12nm, looking like a couple dual cores and then a few quad cores, some with multi-threading up to 8 there. All the clock speeds pretty low. Vega 3 and Vega 6, Vega 8. Oh wow, okay. Oh, these are 10 use CUs. Stream processors, decent amount there actually. Yeah, very low TDPs. So these will be good. I mean, obviously for the entry level guys, this will be what some of them are looking at. Although the 3700, that won't be very entry level, but okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay, but I think most of you guys will be more interested in the mainstream, obviously gaming ones, which we will be seeing soon, and they will be getting up to, I think, around 16 cores. It's what we keep hearing. 16 cores, 32 threads on the mainstream platform. I told you guys they would be doing this. I said this so many times, and everyone laughed at me. And I was like, yeah, you know, Ryzen 3000. It's going to go up to 16 cores. And you guys were like, why would they go above 8? That's so stupid, Kevin. It's not going to be 16 cores. And then Jim made his great video, you know, talking about all the information he got a hold of. And that was 16, you know, 16 cores. Like, people used to, I told you guys, why did you think it would stop at 8? That's like Intel thinking it would always stay at 4. Why did you think it would stay at 8? It was going to keep going, and it will continue to keep going. That's all there is to it. It will keep going up and up and up over time. Whether applications can utilize that, well, that's its own discussion. But yeah, it will just keep going and going. So yeah, we'll take some. I'll do a few questions now. I'll actually get through some of the ones you guys asked on the community page. So the first question is, I'm just going to go down from the top. You guys check out my community page on the channel. I often post polls there, ask questions, do things like that. How do I get lumps out of gravy? You're probably asking the wrong person. I haven't cooked anything properly aside from just making like ramen stuff here since I arrived in 4 months. No cooking. I just eat out every day. Just went out for breakfast then, pancakes, bacon, eggs, and stuff. It's nice, you know? It's so cheap to eat food here. So why would I cook at home? I just go out to a different restaurant or whatever, like cafes and things like that. It's just so cheap. Why wouldn't you? Would you let Teddy build his own PC? Maybe. Buy GPUs now or wait for Navi? Well, I'd say with CES coming right up, I'd just wait. Sit on your hands just for like 2 or 3 more weeks, and then you can make a decision, or a month would probably be the better thing to say. Your thoughts on the RTX rumors, 2060 rumors? Yep, we talked about that. I want a good CPU cooler for $50 to $70. I'm assuming that's US dollars. I'd have to look it up. I'm running the Be Quiet Dark Rock 4, and I love it. But before that, I mean, you could run a little 120 mil liquid cooler for that. That'd be pretty good. Yeah, that'd be fine. Let's see. Best time to build a PC. A lot of you guys are just asking, will it, when's it good to build a PC? That's obviously, I would say just wait for the next month. Wait one more month, and then you're going to see a lot of what you're going to see for a while, I think. So then you can decide. Will a Ryzen 5 1600 be future-proof? Yeah, sure. I mean, depends what you're doing. If you're just playing games, sure, yeah. Okay, what did I pay for the 2080? My one, I paid 24,000 NT, which is like 1,100 Australian dollars, 1,100 Australian dollars, brand new, for the Asus Dual OC model. How are the girls nice in your area? I don't want to get myself in trouble. Jared says use a lump filter. Yeah, that probably would. Low temperature, keep stirring. Not even a tasty mega mix. Yeah, no, I'm done with the mega mix, I think. Yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, Threadripper keeps getting cheaper and cheaper. That's good. I mean, like, there's been no. If you were someone that was looking to build a workstation PC, there's never really been a better time. It's a very, very good time to build a workstation rig, that's for sure. It's compared to like years ago. I mean, considering now there's a lot of us like tech YouTubers, because we do productivity stuff and we do gaming, so we're always looking for that CPU that can do both quite well. I'm loving the 9900K, obviously 8 cores, it's good. 16 threads, 5 gigahertz. That's pretty damn good. And it keeps me on the mainstream platform, which is what I would tell you guys that I'm doing now, although a lot of you guys say, I'm on the mainstream. The fact that I'm running a 9900K in 2080 is still a lot above what many other people are running, but I think it's still good because it keeps me on the actual platform, rather than, I think pretty much every other tech YouTuber is on the enthusiast platform. Most of them anyway are all on the enthusiast platform, which I think if you've been on it for quite a while can sometimes make you lose sight a little bit of what the mainstream platform is. And it can just be like when you're reviewing it and stuff, I think it's just nicer being on the mainstream platform for me personally as well. So yeah, guys, just throw any more questions you have my way, and then we'll just do this for a little while. We'll just have a chat, talk about things. I'll leave the specs up there for people who are just tuning in so they can see what the 2060 is all about if they haven't read the news about the specs yet. Yeah, I mean, I love the setup I have now. My PC's done. If you check the About page on my channel, I put down all the specs there for both my system, which is the Intel test system, and also the my AMD system, which is what my girlfriend uses. So the full specs are on there now because both rigs are completed, and I will be doing a sort of another rig update video doing about that. So yeah, we will go over that stuff. But yeah, it's been a fun journey, because when I moved here, more or less I had to rebuild my entire personal rig, which was frustrating. I got the main sort of core stuff sent over, like my drives, the CPU, and the motherboard and stuff, but for the most part we had to rebuild both rigs, which is just, it was annoying for me because I wanted to get the channel up sooner, but then I had to obviously rebuild the system, and it was just this huge thing. So it's nice to be finally done with it now, have everything the way I want, the style I want. It's all black and white, which is what the theme I was going for, and I think it looks really good. I'm not a fan of RGB, as you guys know, so there's not much in it. Just a little bit of RGB lighting on the motherboard, but I like it. It's got a real stealthy look, but the white sort of like sets it off. And then for The AMD rig, it's sort of the opposite. That one's a lot brighter, white case, a lot more RGB on the inside and stuff like that. That one sort of goes more sort of the other way. I have a 1700X and a Strix Vega 64. Yeah, that's a good combo. Yeah, it's powerful. I think the used parts market right now, I got a few questions on the community page about that as well, but I wasn't going to answer them because I'm not, especially now that I'm here in Taiwan, I'm not as clued up on the used parts market, and I think those questions are probably better for someone like Brian at Techiest City, because, I mean, Brian's just always doing the used stuff, so he knows. He keeps a really good eye on it. But even in saying that, I mean, a lot of these Vega GPUs now, you can buy them for not a huge amount of money. You know, you can pick them up for not that much, and they're still a powerful GPU. I think people forget that. They are very powerful. I mean, they're power hungry. They're pretty good. What do you think about the liquid-cooled Vega FE for US $600 on Newegg? I mean, sure, but yeah, I mean, considering $100 more, and you could get the 2080, maybe you could find a 1080 Ti on the used market for that much, potentially. Yeah, I think generally you're better off with the 56 than the 64. Here, anyway, when I made the first graphics card I bought here was a used Vega 56. I got that very cheap. That was like 400 Aussie dollars, I think, or less than that. And I got that very cheap. I think for most people, the 56 is a better one because there's not a massive performance difference between them, but oftentimes you can get the 56 for a lot cheaper. Should I get the Ryzen 5 1600 for $60 less or go for the 2600? Yeah, it depends what you're doing. I would say probably just get the 1600, I guess. Blower style Vega 64, $400 right now. Yeah, but remember it's gonna be like a jet engine in your rig. They're not particularly quiet, which was something I was yesterday when I went out. So I went to it's called Guangha Digital Plaza. So I went there, and there's a whole bunch of tech shops there. It's awesome. You can go around so many different shops. And I was looking at the 2080s, and there was basically 3 that were cheap. I just wanted to buy the cheapest one I could. And one of them was the EVGA Black Edition RTX2080. And I could get that one cheap. And I was looking at it, and it's quite a it's not a very big graphics card. I'll put it that way. It's definitely, we'll look it up here. Black Edition. They're quite a thin. Let's see if we have one from the site. Yeah, like it's kind of hard. They don't maybe have a picture of it because maybe they're trying to hide it a little bit, but it's not a particularly one. There's the Ultra, which is a lot bigger, but these more standard ones are not a very thick GPU. When I actually held it in my hands, I was looking at it and I was like, wow. When you have, I think a lot of you guys are like this as well, the enthusiasts anyways, but when you've been doing GPU reviews for, well, I've been doing this 4 years now, you can kind of tell, at the end of the day, they can do all the wizardry with the cooling, like the heat sinks and the heat pipes and the fans and that. At the end of the day, it's just about like size. Like the bigger the heat sink, the better. It's always going to be like that. The more, the bigger, unless there's some reason like they've done something wrong. But for the most part, that's always the case. And it just seemed thin. Then when I started reading up Newegg comments and stuff like that, Newegg reviews about it, a lot of people were saying it does run hot and it does get quite loud. And so then when I went over and I had the opportunity to get the Asus dual RTX 2080. So this one. So I'll have my video, my unboxing up on this very soon. When I saw this, yeah, there's no replacement for displacement. Yeah, it's the same thing as like with cars. You know, cubes matter. It's always about the cubic inch. You know, that's all it's going to be at the end of the day. I mean, look at the size difference of that by comparison of what I just showed you. You'll see it in the video. There's not many. I think I'll probably have one of the only unboxing videos of it. Oh, I think there's another unboxing videos. I'm not sure. But anyway, when I took that one out of the box, the Dual, and I held that, I was like, whoa, this is a big difference. So yeah, I picked this one. It was slightly more expensive. So I could get the EVGA one for $23,000, which is I'd have to do the is it 50. So that would be about 1,050 Aussie dollars, and then for like $50 more, I could get the Dual here, and so I just went for that because it's much thicker, cooler, and I think it probably would have gone better with the rig. I still stand by what I said. I don't think these RTX cards are a particularly good deal. I also don't believe that they are worth it for anyone to upgrade from an existing thing. But if you're someone like me, you need a powerful card. I game at 4K. I need a powerful GPU. So I look at the used parts market for a 1080 Ti here, and it's only a little bit more for me to buy the 2080 as it is to buy a used 1080 Ti. So for one of these cheap models, not the expensive ones. If I went for one of the more expensive ones, they would be a ripoff. But one of these cheap ones, they still have very good performance, so you may as well just go with that. Get one of these cheap, go around the shops, ask, see if you can get one for a good deal like I did. And then they are worth it. You get a brand new card, you don't have to worry, you know, obviously get a good warranty with it too. Any problems and they tell you just bring it back, you know. So for me, it was just the peace of mind, and that's what I decided to go for. So, but if I already had a 1080 Ti, then no way. But if you're someone, depending on where you live, it can be a good option to do that. And I think going forward as well, it will continue to get better and better. But that's why I decided to go on that. But I still don't think it's a particularly good deal. Why did I move from New Zealand? Oh, there's a bunch of reasons. I've made, like, I've talked about it a little bit. There was just a lot of reasons. But it's been for the most part, it's been better here. There's things I do have issues with, but for the most part, it's been better. Hi, what are my thoughts on the RX 590 card? The ASRock 590, yeah, it's decent. I would say I'll have showdowns up soon. Obviously, that's what I'm going to be showdowning against, these 2060s. I would say the 590 seems, it's very dependent on where you live. So if you're, depending on which country you live on, then you can either, yeah, it just depends on where you live. Some places I look at and it's a terrible deal. Other places it's actually a pretty decent deal. So the 590 is a little bit faster than a 580. I mean, what did you expect? And you pay a little bit more for it in most countries, but in some countries you pay a lot more, which is why you'd be much better off to go for something like the 580 in that aspect. You just have to sum it up where you live, but plenty of people have done reviews on it, so you can see the difference between most models of 580 and 590 in terms of the performance difference. Then you would just need to weigh that up between the cost difference. If they cost exactly the same or near the same in your country, then obviously you just go for the 590. I bought a used Strix RX 580. I'm super happy with it. 150 bucks. That's a good deal. Yeah, 580 is a great card. Anyone else use studio monitors for computer speakers? I highly recommend it. Okay. Whoa. Yeah, so the other thing I liked about this, which I talk about in the the unboxing video is this validation program. I think this is good. I think for a lot of people who are a little bit wary about the RTX cards, this is quite good. You know, making sure that it's working fine in that, and I've been using it and it's just been good. Is there any other news? Anything that's just been coming out? Not really much. There's been a few discounts. I am still using the Poco phone. I will have a review up on that soon. It's been a good phone. I don't really have any issues with it for the most part. It is good. So yeah, I've been enjoying it. I think I'll probably put a review up in like maybe another month, because I just want to see how it wears, you know, like if it really wears or anything like that. Yeah. I got tired of 980 Ti. I get tired of graphics cards coming out. I bought a 980 Ti and so getting sick and tired and getting beaten up by driver updates. They always have driver updates for when the new games come out. That's just part of it. I mean, you don't have to update it. Jared says, I smashed my Nexus 6P on Friday. Oh, no. That sucks, dude. Lasted 3 years, yeah? What are you going to get now? What are you going to replace it with? Honestly, I mean, I bought this not because I was looking for a cheap phone. I just went in and tried it out, and I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, it's actually a really good phone. I was going to spend a decent amount of money on a new phone, and then when I tried this one, I was just like, oh. Aussie, yeah, I moved to Taiwan. Yeah, we've talked all about that at the start of the stream, about the 2060s and stuff. My Pixel 3 XL arrived today. Probably not the best choice. I really looked at the Pixel 3. So I just couldn't get over the notch, especially when I saw it in person. I was just like, ugh. And the Pixel 3, the normal one, I think looks a lot better, but the price it was coming in at, I didn't feel like, for how much I was paying, I actually got a lot. I felt like it was kind of like a little bit of a ripoff. Yeah, you can buy 3 Poco phones. Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's 3, like, it's almost 3, though. Oh, 200 bucks off. That's a good deal, then. Yeah. Yeah, I was... yeah. For a long time, I was... Because I actually... So when it comes to the whole Android app, you know, iOS, you know, thing, I don't really... I've never been a fanboy about anything, and I certainly am not about the phones or anything like that. And I just felt like after using both of them, I still feel like iOS is better overall, but iOS also has more things that frustrate me. But it's just that little bit more intuitive, that little bit sort of easier to use, generally speaking. However, Android has much more customization, which is what I really like. So I would say for most people, iOS would be better. Maybe power users or people that really like to use their phone and stuff like that, maybe they would probably trend more towards Android. But for me, as a person that's kind of in between, I would say I ever so slightly lean towards iOS in terms of it being better, but for the most part, I don't care. I just go with whatever phone itself I like rather than the operating system it has. I just look at the phone itself. Does it have the 3 main things for me is the screen, the camera, and the battery. That's my main 3 things. That's all really I look at. Is the battery life good? Because I really like having a long battery life. Is the camera good? Because it's what I use to take the majority of my pictures. And is the screen good? Because, I mean, you're going to be looking at the screen, so you want a good screen. Scum gang paparazzi. There you go. What good 4K monitor do you suggest? Ooh, that's a good question. There's a lot of good ones out there now. It's not really any spring to mind. It depends on what you are looking for. If you're looking for a very high-end 4K monitor, or you're just looking for something entry level, the Asus 4K one I use is a much more entry level one, and I don't mind using entry level 4K ones. That's never been a big problem to me. Obviously, I'd like to use better ones, but it's never been a huge, and I don't mean entry in the absolute most entry level ones, but ones that are lower down on the scale for sure. Yeah, I would say that's a hard question because it depends what you're looking for. It also depends on what you're going to be using it for as well. If you're doing productivity stuff, or you're just playing games and stuff like that. Aussie tech tax. Well, it's even worse in New Zealand because I think the New Zealand retailers get a bit of a bum rap because everyone says they're so expensive. The problem is that most of the distributors they deal with are over in Australia. So the products come from wherever, like China. Then they go to Australia, they get hit with a tax, and then they get shipped over to New Zealand, and they get hit again. So it's just not ideal, and that's why the prices go up. Here, I would say the prices definitely have been cheaper, for sure. But I mean, everything's cheaper here, so yeah. But it's definitely been a lot easier for me to be able to buy things, but it's also been harder here for me because I don't have as many contacts in terms of the companies, and I don't have the sort of backing I had in New Zealand, which means I have to front a lot of the stuff myself, which has been hard. It's good and bad. It's good in the aspect of that I can very much choose exactly the type of content I want to create, but it's been hard in that I have to do, like when I first started the channel, and prop myself up entirely by myself. So I've been pouring money into Tech Showdown lately, buying products in order to review them for you guys. More than I ever have. No, Playtech does not still sponsor me, which is fair. You know, I'm not in New Zealand anymore, and the situation wouldn't work. We parted ways very well, and I still talk to the guys at Playtech. It's a great company to work with, but yeah, it just wouldn't have worked out. So that's the reality of it. Losing Playtech was a massive blow to the channel in terms of being able to put out the content doing as many reviews as I could. And Playtech didn't tell me how to make certain things or whatever, but they wouldn't tell me like what products to review or anything, but it was like certain times I'd come in and I want to check this out, and they say we've only got limited stock on that, you know, maybe we'll do it again, maybe next month you can do it or something like that, you know what I mean? Like there was times when I couldn't just review certain things because they just couldn't, they either didn't have them or they were allocated, so I couldn't review stuff, which meant they would just give me other things to review, maybe older things, and that was always an issue. Can you resell tech in your area? It's been very easy so far. They seem to use Facebook a lot here, and so you can, but you always take a loss. But I consider that just an expense of the channel. So that's been something that I've become accustomed to, I guess you might say. It's not a big problem. You know, the whole idea on Tech Showdown when I started this channel was that one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard was, if you go on YouTube and you're looking for a specific type of video and you can't find it, then you should make that video yourself, because there's going to be other people like you trying to find it. And I thought that a lot of people didn't know especially when it came to graphics cards, which ones to buy, more specifically what models to buy, and maybe they would buy a bad one and it wasn't very good. So just a second, guys, someone's trying to call me. Yo, what's up? Alright, sorry guys. Yeah, exactly. Like you just, you need, I think it's good to just look for the gaps in YouTube, but then I also figured if I could show people which cards were good, which models were good and which ones were bad, then they would make a better consumer choice. And so even if it cost me a bit of money in terms of the loss of buying it and then selling it and then the loss I would accrue, it would help everybody else. So that was my whole reason behind it. And that's what I went for, really. I think that's what the whole idea of Tech Showdown was, to help people, like help people make good consumer choices. That's always what the channel's been about. That's why I do the showdown, one product versus another, because then I can go into a lot of detail about those specific products, and it's helpful for people looking at those specific ones, or at least one of them, and they can decide. Okay. Yeah, so end of 2018, it's been a good year for the channel. Generally speaking, it's been, obviously in the second half of the year, it was very up and down with all the stuff going on in my life, so that was difficult, but I still think it was a good year for the channel. I still enjoyed it. It has been good. I mean, I'm going into my fourth, I'm 4 years in on YouTube now, and I've been making over 100 videos a year, 100 tech videos a year, by myself. And I don't, that's not like a huge amount or anything. I think that's a fairly standard amount. But yeah, it's good. I'm not tired at all, or I just want to keep doing it. And I will be starting a second channel. It's something I've been very passionate about for a while, but I'm just very uneasy about the impact the second channel may have on this channel. So I'm just sort of asking quite a few people for opinions, you know, putting my toe in the water, so to speak, just to see how I think it will go, because it's so vastly different to Tech Showdown. But it's something I've been wanting to do for quite a long time, because again, it's something that I feel like there's a huge gap on in YouTube, which needs to be filled. And I think I can do a good job, but we'll just have to see. Okay guys, so I'm going to be running out soon. It's just been a bit it's a bit crazy right here right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah, Ryzen 2600, reasonable choice. Yep, good. Yeah, 8600K. Yeah, that's good. All right, guys. So I will. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, the second channel again will be just like this one. It's not so much aimed at just overall growth. It's just aimed at helping people and helping other people understand things. So yeah, I don't think the second channel will be big. I think it might have the potential if my concept goes through and it goes over well. But yeah, I'm not. Yeah, we'll just have to see. But as I said, guys, as always, if you want to support the channel, you can head over and join Teddy's super cool club, and that will help. Then you can get cool little logos in the live chat. Let me see these ones. Right. So you can put them. There we go. So that's cool. I thought that would be like a fun little thing, and it helps support me now that I'm sort of carrying my own weight. You know, I thought it'd be something fun. But yeah, you guys have a good time. Happy New Year to everyone. It's been a fun year. We're going to be doing more and more in 2019. I'll be more established here. I've been making a lot more connections, so that the content will just keep getting better and better, and hopefully there'll be more and more and more of it. So that'll be really good. But every time you guys help me out, that just means more showdowns and more stuff like that. I already pour a ton of my own money into the channel, so any money I get from the fans just goes into that. You know, just more GPUs, more CPUs, more showdowns, and all of that. So that's good. Yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. It's been really fun. I'll have the unboxing video up very, very soon, so make sure you check that out, the RTX 2080 unboxing. Definitely want to check that out. The thing's an absolute tank. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.